Urgent. It's the universal midnight scramble. You're staring at a dead phone, fumbling in the dark, trying to find a wall outlet before your morning alarm fails to go off. Over the last decade, chips became twice as efficient, and cameras reached movie set quality. But despite those leaps, the time we spend tethered to a cable hasn't improved since the early days of the smartphone. We've been conditioned to accept a compromise. You don't even think about it anymore. You just assume plugging it in every single night is a mandatory part of owning one. We have become dependent on the wall outlet. This one-day battery standard isn't a technical limit anymore. It's just the most widely accepted flaw in modern technology. The OnePlus 14R enters the market with a specific promise: 48 hours of use on a single charge, no nightly top-offs, no power banks. To see if that's a real-world result or just a lab-tested fantasy, we're putting the 14R through a continuous 48-hour gauntlet against the most expensive flagships from Apple and Samsung. Most people expect these $1,000 titans to be neck and neck, but as the clock starts ticking, one of these premium devices is going to hit zero much faster than you'd expect. This test is designed to find out if manufacturers over-prioritize thin designs and screen brightness at the expense of the one thing that actually keeps our digital lives running. We started the first 12 hours with a high-intensity drain. That means maximum screen brightness, heavy GPS navigation for a 3-hour drive, and constant high bitrate music streaming over 5G. Look at this chart at the 12-hour mark. The competitors are already dipping toward 40%, but the 14R is sitting comfortably at 70%. This shouldn't be possible without a massive heavy battery.
But the 14R feels as light as any other flagship. So how are they getting 30% more efficiency out of the same footprint? It's a hardware shift called dual-cell architecture. Instead of one large block, the battery is split into two separate cells working in parallel. This drastically reduces thermal waste. Heat makes batteries degrade quickly. This layout keeps the system running at a much lower temperature. Then there's the software side. The operating system uses an aggressive background gatekeeper. It identifies which apps are trying to wake up the processor while the phone is in your pocket and shuts them down before they can sip a single milliamp. The 14R isn't just carrying a bigger tank of gas, it's using a more efficient engine and a smarter fuel management system. To push the survivors, we moved to the murder test. That's 3 hours of high frame rate mobile gaming, a task that usually turns smartphones into pocket heaters. We followed that with continuous 4K video recording. Most phones struggle here because the image processor generates massive heat, which forces the battery to drain even faster to keep the system stable. The results were immediate. By the 18-hour mark, the first flagship went dark. At 20 hours, the second one followed. Neither survived a full day of high-intensity use. The 14R, however, stayed fully operational. After the thermal abuse of gaming and video tests, the system remained responsive and frame rate stayed consistent. As we hit the 24-hour mark, the point where most people are desperately looking for a plug, the 14R still had 38% remaining. Surviving a day of torture is one thing, but starting a second day with over a third of your power left is a result we haven't seen from a flagship in years. We spent day 2 using the phone for standard tasks: emails, web browsing, and social media. Exactly 48 hours after the first charge, the battery finally hit 1%. This data shows the gap. The 14R provided nearly double the active screen-on time of its closest competitor, while maintaining its standby power over 2 full days. These numbers prove that the nightly charge is no longer a technical requirement. If a device is engineered correctly, you can actually go a full weekend without thinking about your battery level. We've reached a point where you no longer have to choose between a high-performance flagship and a phone that lasts more than 24 hours. This data forces a difficult question for the industry's biggest players. Now that a mid-range flagship has proven this level of endurance is possible, will the giants continue with their current designs, or will they be forced to overhaul their internal architecture to keep up? It comes down to what you value more. Would you rather have a slightly thinner phone with a more complex camera, or the utility of a phone that you only have to charge 3 times a week? Let us know in the comments. Is 2-day battery life the must-have feature for your next upgrade? Or are you okay with the nightly charge as long as the camera is top tier? While other manufacturers spent years chasing thinner bodies and minor pixel bumps, the 14R focused on endurance. It proves that the most valuable feature a phone can have is the ability to stay out of the way and off the charger.